Hello everybody and welcome to Japan. We're currently leading the Formula 2 Championship heading into the second round, but of course including this round there's still 11 to go, so anything can happen. One bad race and that could be curtains for the championship hopes. We won here last season, so we're going to hope to continue that form. TheTubbyNinja is going to be strong here. He was very strong last season before he disconnected. Bankai will have probably improved from last season after a disappointing race for himself. GTX and Sansam were rapid last week at Austria, so I'm assuming they're going to try and carry it on. We're currently on provisional pole as we sort of get slightly blocked on the start to our lap, but it shouldn't bother us too much. Currently on provisional pole, but we are about 3 tenths at least off of a time that we'd want to be doing. We did a 26.2 or 3 last season, but I definitely had time in it. So heading through turn 1. I think I've got worse at this corner this season for some reason, but you can see we're green currently. Flat through turn 2, down to 5th for turn 3, holding it in 5th, keeping it as tight as possible. Dropping it to 4th there is probably unnecessary. Flat through Dunlop, hoping the back end doesn't step out. We are 2 tenths up, heading into Degner 1. Dropped about half a tenth, and gained a little bit of it back out of the second Dunlop. Now into the hairpin. I think I had a lot of time to gain here, and we do get quite a bit on entry and exit, so that's about a tenth picked up there, and we're on course for a pretty strong lap. Still not currently on course for a time that we want to do, as Bankai's just beaten us. We almost get blocked, and that sort of put me off slightly into Spoon. As you can see, we've sort of held with our delta there. Definitely could have improved, but I was slightly put off by that car. It wasn't blocking, but it was just hiding the apex for a bit longer than I'd liked. Through 130R, nailed that bad boy. Now into the Casio triangle. We are slightly scared about being blocked here, and we have managed to get through it pretty quickly, and we've pretty much held our delta at 2.5 tenths up, and that's a 26.1. Better than last season, can't ask for much more than that. And that puts us second. GTX taking pole by over a tenth with a rapid lap that no one could even really get close to. And if you check there, second down to 6th, separated by just half a tenth, which is very close. Top 10 within 3 tenths. Very close qualifying, and hopefully it stays like that for the race, because GTX looks like he might be ready to run away with this one. But we'll see. Possera is a new name in 4th place that we might have to contend with. And now the lights are coming on. And away we go. We get a lot of wheel spin on the start, and actually get a little bit of a nudge from Bankai as we sort of come across his path. He's challenging GTX into turn 1, but can't do much about it. Luckily we don't have any wing damage, and we've managed to hold on to 3rd place. Starting alongside Bankai, you always assume you're going to lose a position, but it's disappointing that I sort of didn't even get to fight for it after that start. And you can see the safety cars actually come out on the first lap of the race, which help us to extend these tyres a bit further. As it now comes in, we need to try and hang on to GTX and Bankai, which I thought I'd be able to do pretty easily based on how Bankai's race went last season, but you never know. We've also got TheTubbyNinja behind us, who is not our teammate anymore, so he'll be waiting for any opportunity that he can take to get past me. And Parcero behind him, who I have not encountered before, so it's always a bit of a gamble coming across an unknown entity if you're going to battle with them. But for now you can see we've dropped quite a bit in the first sector to a man on a pad, which is quite insulting. And we've gained it all back after he gets done the second Dunlop, second Degner wrong quite badly. So we're just going to follow him. You can see GTX is already getting a bit of a gap. He's already pulled maybe 8 tenths away, maybe even over a second already to Bankai, which if he can break DRS straight away, that's going to be a big advantage for the rest of the race. So we've had a pretty tidy Spoon. No innuendo there, I don't think. heading towards 130R. We are trying to stay within Bankai's DRS as much as possible, but it is a bit of a struggle, and the ERS does not come back here once you get it low, unless you pit. It just does not come back, so we don't want to waste it all, because then we'll be a sitting duck later in the race, as GTX since 30.5 was the first fast lap of the race, which is about half a second better than us. We're still just keeping within Bankai's DRS just about, and it's going to be enabled on the next lap. Skipping ahead to lap 7, we just lost Bankai's DRS. We had kept it for a bit, but we just lost it, and we might get it now. Nope, no, he's dropped us, which is disappointing. It's going to become difficult to defend from Sneaky Ninja behind us now. All he needs really to do is to burn a lot of his battery once. He should get past, but we have saved ours up just in case, as Rob 2K retires from the session on lap 8 and brings out another safety car exactly on the lap that I was gonna be pitting. So everyone dives in, and what this means is that Bankai, following his teammate, is going to be held in the pits and is going to lose out big time. And we exit the pits. We almost get jumped by Sneaky Ninja, and we do get jumped by Pacero, who does actually have a drive-through, so luckily that doesn't matter. And it all maintains the same, but with us gaining a position on Bankai, as Limaro just drops it, exiting the hairpin under the safety car, which is a pretty poor mistake to make, as the safety car tells us it's coming in as it rounds the chicane, which is not helpful. As a result, Sneaky Ninja was a bit caught out and hit me at approximately 2 miles an hour, and we both get a 5-second timer penalty. And we've already lost a big amount to GTX on that exit. Something I need to work on, but I just never will, is my safety car restarts, because I always lose out big time to the car ahead. He was on Humbo's butt, and he continues to be. This might actually help us a bit, as GTX does seem a little bit quicker than everyone else, but he now has to deal with sitting behind Humbo, who's on the hard tyres. Humbo's also pretty quick generally, so it's not going to be easy to get past even on those hard tyres. So maybe an opportunity will present itself. GTX is going to be quicker than us if we did get ahead, but overtaking, only really 1 or 2 places to do it, and if I manage to keep the battery levels high, it's going to be tough to do it. GTX could think about having a go into Spoon, but he's not going to quite be close enough. We of course need to hope that we don't have to pit again for any reason, because that 5-second penalty that we've got from the safety car will be served if we pit, so hopefully no more safety cars happen, or no more safety cars where pitting again is the best option. As GTX brakes slightly early and almost catches us out there, it looks like he's probably going to be past Humbo in a matter of moments. And you can see he just pulls away so much from us out of that corner. I'm not sure why. I really wasn't driving well today. I hadn't really got into a rhythm at this point. And skipping to lap 13, Sepiden retires. See, GTX is all over the gearbox of Humbo still, and we just aren't close enough. We should be closing in, because Humbo should be slower than us, and another safety car comes out on lap 13. Too early to pit again for softs, and also that would be suicide because everyone's already in a train. Comes in on lap 15. You see GTX has already got half a second on us. We've got a bit more than that to Sneaky, so he must have had an even worse restart. But can we pressure GTX throughout the rest of this race? We're very worried about cold tyres on safety car restarts. I remember last season exiting the pits on cold tyres and just sliding through turn 1. So I didn't want to do that and ruin my tyres and lose loads of time, maybe do a huge spin. Because GTX has already dropped us out of DRS, he's absolutely flying, and I wasn't driving well by any means. I was driving pretty badly, but to be dropped by this amount is quite demoralising. It just felt powerless. Skipping to lap 18, so he's only been out for a couple laps. We've been released from the safety car. And he's got a 3-second gap already, which is pretty unassailable. You see he's got the fastest lap as well, so that'll be a bonus point there if he holds it to the end of the race. Sneaky Ninja, of course, is going to be putting more pressure on us, as we now need to use a bit more of our battery to defend, seeing as we don't have the DRS from ahead. We've never really had the DRS from ahead, other than a few laps at the start. Through this first sector, we do start to pull GTX in. He's had a bad end to the first sector. We've gained about half a second on him, and from Dunlop really, we've gained about half a second. Dropped Sneaky a little bit as well, so we must have actually started driving well there. And skipping to lap 20, the gap is down to 2 seconds, so if we carry on pulling him in at this rate, we might actually be able to challenge by the end of the race. Gap is still coming down slowly, and at this point I was probably thinking about the gap coming down and then starting to panic and not drive well enough. Now lap 22, the gap has remained stable, which is good considering how much quicker he was initially. My guess is that he burned a lot of battery, and Samadhi now retires from the session. Is there going to be another safety car? There's a virtual safety car. So we need to try and make sure we don't lose out too much on this, and unfortunately we have lost about 1.3 seconds, which translated to about half a second to GTX. I was very worried about entering corners with a delta that was only slightly green, as you never really know how quick it wants you to go, and as a result we've lost out not only to GTX and ruined all that hard work we did catching him. We're also now under a lot more pressure from behind, as Sneaky smells blood, and the blood he smells is his teammate from last season. See, he's very close, maybe even thinking about challenging me into the Casio triangle, but he's going to be too far behind. We are pretty good into the braking, I think, in the Casio triangle, so I don't think he's going to be able to pass me there. It's going to have to be into turn 1 if he does it. GTX holding that gap at 2.5 seconds. San close behind Sneaky, but don't think he's going to be able to challenge Sneaky necessarily, as our teammate is also into 5th place. And we are starting to close in slightly again as we get the chicane wrong. And Tim Van Riel retires from the session and brings out another safety car, so we don't need to worry about closing down GTX anymore. But there's another safety car and another safety car restart that we have to deal with, and we almost lose it, so we're certainly not going to be challenging GTX on this lap after that, and we are going to have to focus on Sneaky behind us. Both going to have full batteries, but he's going to have slipstream. Won't have DRS though, so we are going to have to keep it clean coming out of Spoon, keep it clean coming out the final corner, and that's the only way really we're going to be able to stay ahead. Luckily it is borderline impossible to overtake around here unless you are so much quicker, and GTX again has dropped us out of what would be DRS already. Yeah, so just completely a level above everyone here. I'm not sure if I was holding up the people behind me or not. I suppose if I was holding them up too much, they'd be challenging me a lot more, as I never really side by side with anyone at any point. But yeah, there's always the hope that GTX might get a penalty or something now. That's the only hope really, but you know, new season, GTX might be a bit more on it with stuff like that. Especially now that the win is completely in his hands and he doesn't need to push because he's got such a big pace advantage. Sneaky Ninja getting within 3/10 of us into the Casio triangle. And he's gonna, I imagine, burn almost all of his battery here, or he's gonna save it for the run out of Spoon at the end.
This is your final lap.
We're gonna use a bit just to get us to turn 1. do stay ahead into turn 1. GTX is pulling away about 3 tenths in turn 2, turn 1 even, turn 1-2. And we are going to try and keep this lap as clean as possible. Sneak will be struggling with the dirty air behind us and has dropped to about 8 tenths behind, which is good for us. He's going to have to claw that back. He's going to want to challenge. He's always been better than me through the second Degner. That was a thing from last season. He gains about a tenth through it. The hairpin I think I was actually gaining on exit throughout the race, maybe a tenth or so on the exit of this hairpin. I think we do roughly do that. But now comes the battery burn. We haven't got that much. It all just depends on how much he has. If he's got about 80%, he's going to be able to get us. We're not going to get any slipstream from GTX, or any meaningful slipstream. He's 6.5 tenths behind us. And actually he's not going to be able to challenge. It's going to be too far. Yep, too far behind. And that looks like that is the position for us. Save an absolute disaster through this final corner. But no, we don't. And we take second, which becomes third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So we classify in sixth, but me and Sneaky will both be getting those penalties removed because it was a bit of a weird safety car. GTX was an absolute level above today. Bankai very unlucky again for the second race in a row, as the safety car really screwed him, sort of being punished for being so close to his teammate. As Don Silva manages to take 7th place after qualifying down in 19th, so very impressive by him. This will drop me to 2nd in the championship, as GTX picked up that fastest lap, but it's still all to play for with 10 laps remaining. And on to the next race in Britain.